Hello and welcome to Rollnoevil. My name is Ray and I'm your host, your ghost host, acting as the keeper for this Monster of the Week adventure. This podcast is based around the apocalypse-based system Monsters of the Week. This system differs from Dungeons & Dragons and other TTRPGs as it relies on simplicity and player roleplay far more heavily than mechanics. Players have a set of 5 attributes: cool, sharp, tough, charm, and weird that drive forth their moves that are then rolled for on 2d6. There is no focus on distance or balancing or anything like that. The main thing to watch out for is just a player's life, as they are only given 7 health, dubbed harm. They must then try and keep alive whilst uncovering an overall mystery relying on discovery and logic while a countdown happens in the background on the keeper's end. Now, at the time of this campaign's recording, we were playing off of the base edition of Monsters of the Week. Since then, there have been additions, changes, and updates that yous who have picked up on the system recently may not be familiar with and or raise a brow to. Know that in future games, we will be playing with these changes. For now, we are operating within the version of Monster of the Week as was published at the time of us playing. As well, certain liberties were taken by myself and the other players as the manuals we had were a bit vague, which were then elaborated in these newer versions, such as the hold point system and magic. For those, we are skipping the requirements and additions as such and instead relying on communication between the player and the keeper. So, as an example, if a move says that a player can ask certain questions from a list, we're allowing the player to ask any question to me, the keeper, and I will answer. We wanted freedom to play and have more fun without constrictions that were confusing at the time. With all that being said, we're all big fans of this system and have had and are continuing to have a lot of fun playing, and we hope you all enjoy listening to it as well. If you like all the creepiness, oddities, and terrible jokes we have here, make sure to share this podcast with your friends and share online with the hashtag rollnoevil. The day almost seems to rival what will be happening at the Peregrine estate. It is late in the day, just after lunch, just as the sisters had told their guests to arrive. The sky is a swirling watercolor of spring season, robin egg blues, warm umbers. The air in the windows is cool, but brings with it a gentle sort of warmth, a promise for summer's soon arrival, pleasant, easy. So, a juxtaposition of the estate it surrounds, for the grounds, though well maintained for being in the most secluded area of upstate New York, are not the same as the others you saw in your drive up. This place, it was one where the mortal plane was torn away by the hands of the woman inside. A car rolls up, well polished, using that turtle wax that just hit the scene in 1904, stops. An elegant lady gingerly steps out of the scene. Would you like to describe your character?
So Felicity Anderson she's a young lady. She's about 18 years old. Pretty well kept, wavy blonde hair, got a big absurd hat, the big ruffles, and all that. There's probably like a little cannon on the hat. Definitely a little cannon. Empire waist, high lace collars, a small clutch, and a parasol. This place looks charming, should I say.
And the inside, the driver kind of looks up a little bit. I assume he is wearing one of those old-timey driving glasses, the goggles, and he puts it down to get a better look and then puts it back on. and just very casually says, "If you need me, ma'am, just ring."
Of course, Alfie. Come along, Mildred.
Out from the side, you see... Would you like to describe Mildred?
Mildred is Felicity's chaperone, and if you can imagine the most sour middle-aged woman you could possibly imagine, if Karens existed in 1904, her name would be Mildred. She's everything, every inch of her skin is covered. She has a perpetual scowl, and she seems to be turning her nose up at the universe.
She kind of almost sniffs the air as she gets out, nose pointed upwards, of just, "Are you sure, miss, that we're in the right spot?"
Oh, Millie, you don't understand what it means to be young and to have fun now, don't you? Come along, I'm sure we can find you a nice cobwebbed corner to set up in.
She kind of follows along as you go to the front the entire time, just muttering under her breath, just, "Fun? This is fun. Tetanus is fun." Go up to the door, and before you can even approach it to knock or anything such as that, it swings open. The hinges creaking as it does, and the bright face of a girl around your age greets you. Standing in the doorway is, like I said, a woman around your age. She is wearing almost more old school clothing, things that probably her mother would have worn at her age. A very high collar with lace around the sides, made of warm brown and faint dusty pink lines, and almost like a pinstripe from the shirt to the long skirt. Her hair pulled up in a more fashionable area of, something resembling like a Gibson girl. Give me 1 second. We'll cut this part out.
Editor, keep it in.
Shut up.
Keep it in, cowards.
Greeting you in the doorway is the youngest sister by a year, one of the infamous Peregrine Sisters, Flora. She is more youthful than her sister, much more social, being the one that you've read about in the papers, giving statements and telling people to come so they can commune with the dead together. She is grinning widely as you are there, almost bouncing on the heels of her feet. She goes, "Oh my, you must be Miss Felicity."
Quite. You have quite a giggle mug there, don't you, Miss Flora, is it?
Yes, it is giggle. There's just such colorful language nowadays. Oh, I'm learning so much. I've already learned so much from our guests inside. And as she does, she kind of gestures her hand inside, or blushing just a bit. It's like, "Oh, where are my manners? Please do come in. Please do come in. Please bring your..." She looks over to Mildred over your shoulder. "Grandmother's..."
Close enough.
Okay. Do come inside. Do come in.
Come along, Millie.
As you walk inside, you see a manor. Truly is the best way to describe it. It is rich woods, colorful rugs, candelabras. It is one that was definitely made for the rich first coming to America. However, bits have slowly started to show their age. The wood is not rotted, but it has started to fade from use in certain spots. The rug has gathered bits of dust. The portraits, which you can clearly tell which ones were the originals as they were neatly placed along. More portraits sporadically put around them. One showing the sisters when they were young, when they were older, ones of their parents, and more. Some showing just shapes and darkness. Others, figures like wisps of smoke. Flora leads you over to the side parlor where we see a gaggle of other guests. "Please do take a seat. My sister and I are finishing preparing. Our other guests are here. Please do conversate. We'll be together for quite a while.
While Felicity is like walking in, definitely at one point she like runs her finger, like her gloved finger across the sideboard, like sees some dust and just kind of go like sort of brushes it off, maybe on Mildred's sleeve, I think.
We can say that like it's just right on the chest.
And just kind of goes, charmed, and then goes and finds sort of a seat that's not quite in the center of things, but also not quite in a corner. Sort of, near other people where she can hear things. Yeah.
In your spot, in a seat that we'll say is in the center of the room, is a little table for putting one's tea or a parasol down on. It is close enough where you're able to pick up on some of the conversations from others in the crowd. The loudest of you here is a particular man who looks quite disgruntled to be there, but for those listening, we have a chat, and I just read based parasol table, and editor, keep that in.
It could be for tea, it could be for parasols. Who's to tell?
I don't ask the Peregrine Sisters what they do in their parlor. It's rude.
Rude.
Rude. You gotta say it with the phlegm. But transitioning nicely from that, we see a disgruntled man. He's looking at his pocket watch. He looks very annoyed to be waiting. Travis, would you like to describe your character?
Yes, so my character is Edward Ravenway, otherwise known as Eddie to those who he's more familiar with and the fans of his radio show. He likes to have very expensive pocket watches, rings, and other accoutrements, but can't really afford a nice suit, so it's a little bit disheveled, a little bit ill-fitting, definitely a rental. Very prominent updo type of hair that is shining with the glistening of a Dapper Dan type of snake oil that I use for hair gel, because this is the early 1800s.
1904.
1904.
In New York City.
In New York City.
You see Ed, he's looking at his watch quite a bit. You can see on the back that it's a commemorative watch, one from his time hosting. If you were to ask him, being the true star of his radio show.
You would think that anybody would be poked up at the idea of not being able to provide at least a decent entrance. Right
next to him, we can see a more gruff-looking man, just trying not to look, but there's, he's still, looking at Ed like he's just a creature from the woods. Drew, would you like to describe your character?
Oh, sure. So sitting there, see an older man, salt and pepper hair, salt and pepper beard, kind of tanned skin, piercing blue eyes. He's got on a white button-up under a black vest and jacket. His Sunday best, but a little dirty. And kind of on his knee, he's got a well-worn cowboy hat. He's just very out of place among the elite here in New York City.
You gotta say it like Laszlo. New York City.
New York City.
There we go. Yes, so the two of you are near one another. Are you engaging with Ed, or you're like, dear fucking God, no?
He's dear fucking God, no. Just watching everyone who comes in. Very much fish out of water.
Can't.
Oh my God. As you look around, Felicity, there is a face that you do tend to recognize. The one that is trying to scooch as far as she can on the opposite couch where two other men sit. Dude, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah. So Norma is, as you said, trying to scooch away from them as far as she can on the couch. She's wearing her black morning dress with her straw-colored hair all done trying as nice as she could, but there's still a few couple strands that are falling out here and there.
It's a face that you do recognize, Felicity. One from gossip you have heard.
Ah, Miss Rosdale, is it? It is so fascinating to see you out and about today. How are you dealing, my dear?
It's been rough. I haven't been out in a while. Yeah, it's been tough.
Out so soon. Fascinating. And then she just sips her tea. That's it.
The tea that she somehow got.
There was a tea
From the
table. I
parasol
put the
table.
parasol
Someone
down,
else's tea.
and I picked up the tea.
You got the tea from the parasol table, as one does.
God, I hate it because I just know that if I say yes, you motherfuckers are gonna keep going with this and making the table of infinite items. Oh my God! I was explaining today where there's.
You said tea?
I have to pinpoint everything.
You said tea?
That you could use for tea or lay a parasol.
You said tea and parasol in the same sentence, and then I just went with it.
Just manifested. It's there.
Tea, parasol, ropes, bombs.
It's basically a Rite Aid. Overhearing this talk are the two other gentlemen sitting on the couch, sofa, whatever rich people call it.
It's a chaise.
Shade lounge.
Chaise. Maybe you overhear, maybe you're not, maybe you're letting it sink in. Fern, would you like to describe your character?
Yes, so Atticus, he's in his mid-20s wearing a very fashionable three-piece black suit, about 5'8", got a small top hat on, a bow tie, and a cane, and a well-groomed mustache. Again, very fashionable in the times.
Are we talking like
Oh yeah, with the twirl and everything.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Okay. It's allowed. If not, I would have found a way to make you shave. You overhear the rather awkward back and forth between Felicity and Norma.
Atticus will walk up and introduce himself as a gentleman.
You're next to her on the couch.
Oh, next to her on the couch, sorry.
Yes.
So Atticus will introduce himself. Hello, the name's Atticus. And you are?
Should I know who you are?
Oh, no. But I am connected to some of the more well-known folks. Are you familiar with the 300 Club? Or the 400? Sorry.
Yes. That. Oh, our family left that, 2 years ago? Too old school for us.
Ah, yes, you must be from new money, as they say.
Quite.
Alongside, on the opposite side of Atticus, kind of just watching. Like, I'm talking like head down, like peering in through like a doorway. Flower, who are you?
Albrecht Elsinger. He is a thin, waifish man of insignificant height. Glances about the room. He's swimming in this oversized fabric of an old overcoat. Yeah, he's just kind of looking around, kind of wispy hair, just observing, listening.
I must preface also for those who cannot see is, he is wearing an actual cape while discussing his character wearing a cape. And this is not his only cape.
He's T-posing in a cape. That's the
Yes.
most important thing.
Yes.
This is
That's how you
important.
show off the folds.
Don't ever say that again. Don't ever
Get out.
say that.
This is a family show.
Is it? Is it? If this is a family show, I think I signed up for the wrong thing.
It's not for all families, but like you could watch it with
This
your
is for
family.
families and
Very progressive family.
Yes.
Progressive.
Broken families.
This is a fold-free zone. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna get a sticker that says that. Full free zone.
Our first merch.
Yes. You know what? Drop a like in the chat that we don't have because this is a podcast. For full free zone.
We could put it in the Spotify description.
You can hear bits of clamoring from the sisters outside the parlor door. Looking through the doorway, you can even see the closed oak wood door just kind of gently move as they fiddle around. You are the Séance group. You are those who have come here for a specific purpose. The Peregrine Sisters are not common magicians or fortune tellers. They are renowned. They've been in papers. And that's expensive nowadays. So all of you have prepared. You're ready for this. You're almost eager as both sisters, Flora and Fauna, come out and greet you from the doorway. Hello, Fauna says. She's much more prim and neat than her sister. Her clothing almost 5 years prior to the already dated wardrobe of Flora. If I mix up the names, I watched Addams Family, and there were two characters named Flora and Fauna, and I loved it, but I did not realize how difficult it was to keep them separated.
Jen, just say the word Flora space Fauna, and we'll just edit it all in post.
Yeah, Flora.
Fix it in post.
Or Fauna.
Is it bad that I wasn't thinking Addams Family? I was thinking specifically the witches, or no, the fairy godmothers from Sleeping Beauty.
That was probably way better.
I was thinking of the deer from Animal Crossing.
I was thinking of flowers.
I was too.
Yeah, I was thinking of flowers.
I was thinking of plants.
That just really shows who we are as people.
Plants, witches.
Also, weren't Flora and Fauna in the Addams Family conjoined twins?
Yes, they're not conjoined. I just like the names.
But they both had a thing with
They both canonically fucked Gomez.
Was it Gomez or Uncle Fester?
I thought it was
Gomez
Uncle...
stole them, and Gomez canonically fucked
Right.
them. I don't know the logistics, but I really do want to know.
You know what? Good for them.
The director's cut.
Warner Brothers has stopped responding to my emails.
Suck your
For
weird
now.
fanfic.
Release the tape.
The Gomez.
Flora is much more put together than her sister. She's a bit more regal in how she stands, her hands neatly folded against her stomach. She looks upon all of you very slowly. I am sorry for you needing to be here, to get the word back to those you have lost. She says very softly, but a bit sternly. Are there any questions before we begin? She looks out to all of you.
Can we have a drink first? Something a little stronger than tea? I wouldn't mind smothering a parrot right about now.
Can't have any good natty knocking without a little bit of the powdering of the hair.
Hell, I'm already half rats already.
Shout out to yourdictionary.com for the list of Victorian slang. It's just a random editor's note. It's just like
A translation? Yeah.
It's a series of unfortunate events. Nanty-narking. If you enjoy having a good time, then nanty-narking is something you'd enjoy. This phrase refers to having fabulous fun. Powdering hair. When Victorian gentlemen headed to the tavern to partake excessively of the drink, they'd say that they're powdering hair, instead of the more straightforward, getting drunk. Thank you.
This is all I need.
Can you please use that in a sentence?
He just starts to do a spelling bee.
Nation of origin.
I am an alcoholic, and I would like to powder my hair.
I didn't come home last night because I was busy powdering my hair with the boys.
That sounds so much worse for some reason. Something about powdering hair with the boys.
It's a wonder why that saying went out of style.
My god. So, going back, you said that you want to drink, alright? All this we're cutting out, so it's fine.
How dare.
Keep it in.
Anna, she stands up a bit straighter. It looks like she is debating it in her mind, and you see Flora, gingerly put a hand on her arm, just like, sister dear, just a little one. Fauna just kind of rolls her shoulders back a bit. Like, very well, sister. We will prepare absinthe, just a tad before we begin to loosen the nerves. Both disappear once more out of there. A bit of clinking and clanking from the kitchen nearby, leaving you all alone once more. as you do, Eddie, you can see for the first time, looking up from your watch as things are beginning to happen, you see someone that you also do recognize.
Is this the one I'm thinking of?
The Rovers.
Ah, yes. Well, they'll just let about anybody into these parties these days, including this wonderful little gal sneaker with the gas pipes and the rain napper on. I have no idea how he even managed to get in this type of dress code. Talking to you, magician boy.
You're pointing directly at Elbridge.
Stunned.
As you should be.
Offended. Hurt.
As it was intended.
All right. He looks up, kind of stutters for a moment, poses himself. I'm threw off guard by that.
I told y'all are not ready for this character.
I was not ready for that. I didn't think you were talking about me.
You're the only motherfucker wearing a cape.
What? An overcoat.
I mean, to be fair, Rain Napper is like way down the list.
And doesn't gas pipes mean very tight pants? So I love the idea of like full cape and just like skinny, Hot Topic skinny jeans.
Hang on. Adding to note.
You never specified the tightness of the pants. I just assumed it was like the most like form-fitting suit.
I thought it was like fashion.
Skinny jeans.
All right, character edit. Oversized coat, tight pants. Got it.
This is 1904. You don't have it's bell bottoms or nothing.
Hot Topic skinny jeans with the fake zippers.
I want those Jinko jeans.
Ye old skinny jeans.
Ye old jeggings.
As was the fashion of the time.
As was the fashion of the time. In New York City.
York
1904.
Albrecht starts to speak. He says, I see you. And then he pauses, adjusts himself, and you notice a slight change to his accent. You seem to have a problem with me.
I figured that was explicitly said.
Yeah, it was.
Fair point.
Got him.
And what is this problem you have with me?
Well, don't go selling me a dog and pretend you don't know.
Selling you a dog?
Theater, magicianry, all of this devil magic is just the complete opposite of everything
Devil
that
magic?
I do in my complete...
Devil magic. You know what we're here for.
I'm here to talk to one dearly beloved. Whoever that may be to you is completely beyond my understanding.
I'm sure my definition differs from yours.
I'm sorry, this is so hard to keep up.
It's so funny. As you two go back and forth, you kind of see Norma's head just kind of like go from like ping pong one side to the other, just like, oh, and Felicity just kind of like leaning against the wall, just like, just like leaning against the wall right next to the doorway, just waiting for the absinthe, just waiting.
I have neither the time, the patience, or the energy for this low-class nonsense.
Oh.
Less nonsense. Well, as she kind of flips her hair and things of that, there's another in the room that kind of scoffs a little bit at the uppity tone in her voice.
Alexander will kind of scoff. He's kind of over everything. He's gonna step in between the two arguing gentlemen. Enough of this bobbery, all right? He's gonna pull out a flask from his coat. Like, now why don't we just have a drink, all right?
Felicity silently holds out her teacup.
He's gonna offer it to Albrecht.
Albrecht will take it, but then comment, I thought they were bringing out absinthe. And then he'll,
It's just
quite
whiskey.
Just a little
quite a bit of it.
Just whiskey.
Wait a sec.
Ooh, he doesn't take to that too well. So after he takes a bit more than he should, he comes down coughing. What is this?
Just some good whiskey.
Eddie just finds this absolutely hilarious to see this man in pain and lets out the most radio host of ha 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 ha. Seems like someone's saucebox ain't ready for the good stuff.
I don't know what you're saying.
Alexander will take the flask and hand it to Eddie.
Oh, why, thank you, my dear man. I take a big old swig of the thing, reasonably swallowing at least 3 times, not knowing how much is left inside the flask.
It is not the good stuff.
I like grimace as I like slowly put it down and finish that last little gulp and say, brilliant, my good fellow. And I hand him back the flask.
He'll take it, and then finally he'll go to Felicity.
Yeah, Felicity the entire time holding her teacup out, just expectantly. And then just fucking downs, like pours some into the mug and then like downs the tea. That's it.
Now, am I right in assuming you're Felicity Anderson?
Miss Felicity Anderson, yes. And remind me your name, sir?
Alexander. Alex, please. I took your family across the trail years back.
Oh, you did you now? So you would know my parents, Mr. and Miss Anderson, back when they came over. Well, sir, they always spoke highly of their journey, so it is charming to meet you.
They were mighty fine people.
Well, I'm glad you think so.
Sure they'd have a lot to say with how you're acting in public right now, though.
Quite.
Now, we're all here for a reason, so let's just keep the personal squabbles to a minimum.
One never aims to be a foozler in these types of events.
This is the drama I love. Yes, Drew, yes.
Now, how about that absinthe?
I would love to smother a parrot right about now.
Just on cue, the sisters come in, a ornate silver tray filled with crystal glasses, just a little bit of greenish absinthe. Fauna brings it over herself, telling each one, please do pace yourself, just something to settle the nerves. And gives one to each one of you, first giving hers to Felicity, who's, I would imagine, just like fingers ready. Just like, gimme.
Well, here's the question. Did they already do the water and the sugar, right? Because like a full absinthe, right? Because there's the thing and then you...
Yeah, it's like the whole crystal, but they just brought the glasses.
So they already did the thing.
They already did it.
Proper.
Yeah, they're being good hosts. Very proper. I mean, it's the Peregrine Sisters. They're anything but improper. Weird. Needs to clean their house, but not improper. It first gives the glass to Felicity, gives the other to Atticus, then to Albert, Alexander, Ed, and then the last one to Norma, which, as she hands that one over to Norma, very silently she whispers, will you be able to handle liquor?
I sure hope so.
We don't want any incidents while under the influence, we will say.
Oh, no incidents planned here.
Very well. And gingerly hands you the last of the glasses before sending back next side Flora.
Eddie swirls it like a glass of red wine, not entirely knowing how to drink absinthe, and takes a brief sip, enjoys the sugar tones and whatnot of this hopefully psychedelic delicacy, and announces to the group, "Ah, yes, quite a fine vintage. Goes down like a strumpet, but shoots like a revolver-ace."
You see Fauna just kind of like holds her chest. Just, I don't know what that means, but I made it myself. She's just kind of like, she's all grit. Like, you can see every tooth.
A giggle mug. According to, what's it? A giggle mug. A habitually smiling face.
Yes. She is a full giggle mug, which kind of sounds like an insult, to be perfectly honest. No, say it. Don't be a bitch and put it in chat.
Say it, coward.
Say the line.
Well, since nobody knew what goes down like a strumpet, shoots like a revolver-ace, it quite literally means goes down like a prostitute and shoots like a cowboy.
See, I heard strumpet and thought like a crumpet, and so I thought you were talking about like goes down like, you know, the starchy like English muffin type thing, and I was like, boom, right over my head.
The sisters, they nicely just wait for you all to finish sipping your drinks. Flora, being very excited as you do, wanted the prospect of you drinking her absinthe that she made herself, but also at the room being filled. You could see her like looking around excitedly, making eye contact with Atticus, and immediately just wringing her hands a bit nervously. It's so wonderful to have a full room seance. It's been quite a while since we were able to. We've been traveling so much for private sessions. It's wonderful.
Ah, yes, well, I'm glad to hear it. Anyway, about this seance.
Yes.
There won't be any, like, unfortunate byproducts that come out of this, ritual, are there?
Oh, I believe I know what you are referring to, Mr. Mars. My sister and I have made sure to take all the precautions so we don't run into any uninvited guests, we shall say.
Ah, good, because yes. I mean, I am prepared if that does happen. You know, you can always come
We are very aware.
Good. As you should be, you know, my reputation, it seems, has preceded me here.
It has.
Yes, and a few of your fellow club members, we shall say, have also reached out to us just to make sure everything goes as well. But considering the history that you and he share, I very much do not believe that'll be an issue if it is just you. Calling into the ether is not so much as a direct line, it's more so sharing a letter with others. So I am sure that we will be fine this evening.
Ah, perfect. Well, if that's the case, I'll get on to powdering my hair with the guests here.
Such colorful language. She kind of flaps her hand. She was just delighted. To put it base, Flora's just happy to be there. Fauna is a lot less as she kind of waits for you all to finish.
How old are these sisters? Are they 18, 19, 20?
Flora would be about 18 or so, maybe 19. And then Fauna would be around 22, 23. They're
Okay.
young women.
Thank you.
Once the drinks are finished, Flora brings the tray back around to place your empty glasses as Fauna kind of squares her shoulders once more, hands neatly against her chest.
Alex puts his cup down and it's full. Not a single sip.
I would say the same for Norma. She's scared.
Felicity
She's
takes
anxious.
one of them. I don't know which one.
And Eddie takes the other.
Flora just kind of leans the tray over. She knows what's up. She kind of gently brings it, but not to cause a scene. Not to cause any.
Oh, well, actually, before Felicity takes this, the second one, she turns to Mildred, who I'm guessing is just scowling in the corner. Millie, dear, you sure you don't want a little nip?
I don't believe I would like to partake. I would personally like to hurry this up. And you can see she's got this scowl, and Flora just kind of grimaces and leans back, but not at her. She immediately whips her eyes to Fauna, who doesn't even crack as she goes back, saying, I didn't understand that communing with the dead would be on your schedule, ma'am. If that's the case, I will make sure to tell those that are dead to hurry up. And you can see Mildred just kind of ugh.
Felicity kind of almost laughs, but kind of does so in her drink, and I feel catches Flora's eye at this and winks.
Flora just gives a slight little nod. She doesn't wink, but just a mm-hmm. Once the glasses are finished, the sisters move out of the room, silently gesturing to follow. They flank each side of the doorway of the seance room, a room that has been transformed into a place of communication beyond the realm. Both grasp one of the handles and push the large door open. The room is fitting for the activities done there. Antique, dimly lit. The wallpaper is a mustard yellow color with intricate painted designs of flowers blooming. Heavy bruised violet curtains cover the windows on one of the walls, blocking out any sunlight and creating a cocoon of darkness, only lit away by the smattering of lit wax candles scattered in troves across the furniture. There were some on the side table by the door in bronze candle holders. There were some in tall candelabras along each of the four corners. There were many just loose, letting their wax drip down onto deep oak surfaces of desk tables, an old credenza inside the empty spaces of a bookcase between its contents of odd jars of floating dark liquids inside, small trinkets like crystals and bells, and a flat shape covered in red velvet cloth. The only place clean from them was the circular oak wood table in the very center of the room. It was undecorated, apart from a small decorative box in dark black wood sitting in the center, barely even polished, but somehow it was the loudest thing in the room. Please, take a seat, Fauna says, gesturing towards the seats that circle the center table. The sisters join you all in the room once you have taken a seat. Though the table has no end, you know that they take their spot at the head of it. They do not sit. Flora turns and walks over to the bookcase, while Fauna gently picks up the box and moves it closer to her, holding it gingerly as if it was the most fragile piece of porcelain. She looks over at every one of you, gently saying, I believe that each one of you has brought a trinket for those who you wish to speak to once more. Please place them on the table. And each one of you do. Starting from one end, I'll go down the list. Starting from one end, Atticus.
Do we get to choose who we're sitting next to?
I will start with Atticus, and whoever wants to sit next to him can go on from there.
Great. Okay, just want to check. Thank you.
So we've gathered, but we haven't sat down quite yet.
You've gathered,
All right.
yes. But we'll say that Atticus is on one side next to one of them. So everybody following via their right. So Atticus, your trinket.
Yes, Atticus will pull out a list of names, all signed from very prominent figures of New York society.
To his right sits...
Norma, out of her purse, she'll take out, covered in a cloth, and she'll just slide out of the cloth into the box, a silver locket.
To her right sits...
Felicity will come and sit next to Norma and will pull out a hardbound copy of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The binding definitely looks broken. There's some dog ears, etc.
And to her right sits...
Albrecht sits down, pulls out from his pouch a kind of small, leather-bound, dusty book.
And to his right takes the seat...
Edward immediately rushes in and stares intently at the item that Albrecht put on the table, being very suspicious of any single movement that he puts on. He knows that he's a magician. He knows his magic tricks. He's not going to miss anything. But as I flip out my coattails and take my seat, I pull out a small golden keychain, and on the end of it, a white rabbit's foot.
And lastly, to his right...
Alexander pulls out a necklace from around his neck, just kind of snaps it off and pulls off a female wedding ring and places it.
Fauna watches very intently as each one of you places your trinkets on the table. She breathes in slowly, the lights flickering around her face. The deed of a séance is not one to take lightly. We'll be thinning the world between ours and after to call forth the spirits. Caution is not an option. It is a requirement. For if there is a misstep, even just one, we may be lost within the ether of the unnatural world. Flora returns to the table with the rectangular item covered in red velvet cloth in her hands. She places it in the center of the table where the box once was, peeling away the cover to reveal a glossy black Ouija board. As she does, Fauna places her hand down on the small box sitting in front of her, cradling it in her palm. During the duration of the séance, you mustn't speak out of turn, Flora says. One small word may seem harmless, but it can result in some terrible things, such as... She hesitates, closing her eyes as she says, a crimson midnight.
Crimson midnight?
Flora shakes her head. Her face grows ashen just at the name spoken once more. Just above the edge of the table, you can see her slowly but deliberately picking at her fingernails. It is a slow-closing mousetrap set by the spirit for those they wish to torment for eternity. Fauna's hand tightens around the box. The sky grows bloody, a warning that they are devouring your life by the hour until the sky is stained with your bloodshed. You are lost within the other world forever. But we won't have to worry about that. Flora seems to jump to speak, color returning to her cheeks. Only those who dare to stray away from the path will be lost within the crimson midnight. She kind of tries to chuckle as if that will make it seem better, but you can still see her picking at the nail more and more.
Yeah, Felicity has the most skeptical look on her face. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just, Yeah, definitely. Crimson Midnight.
From the back, you can see Mildred, who's been hanging around,
10 out of 10.
just kind of have the same look of just like, this is a load of barnacles. But Fauna just, she looks at her once more, tilting her head. Braver souls than ours have been lost. We cannot find them any longer. All that is left is a scream in a distance. She looks down at the box once more, opening it up to reveal a plain wood, yet decorated in the same paint as the Ouija board, the planchette. She picks it up and places it on the board. Ma'am, she says, looking at Mildred, we cannot have any loose ends, we shall say, nor those who may tempt to invoke Crimson Midnight. Please wait in the parlor. Afterwards, we shall fetch for you. Mildred kind of looks over to Felicity, waiting.
Bye, Millie. Have a good sulk.
Mildred kind of like scoffs and rolls her eyes. Very well. She hops back over to the parlor, closing the doors behind her, leaving you all in darkness and candlelight. I wish we can show what the chat is like right now, dear God.
Mildred is definitely Squidward.
Immediately who I thought of.
Thank you, Fern. You're 100% correct. Nothing has been more accurate.
Oh, Jesus.
Just fully fucking Squidward.
She constantly makes the noises that the villagers in Minecraft make. Just constantly.
Yes.
The wonderful games that we would play in the mines, because this is 1904 and child labor laws haven't been invented yet.
You know that game that children love of digging things in mines? What is it called?
It's called the Black Lung.
A job. Stimulating the economy.
Safe labor laws haven't been invented yet.
It's called the American economy.
Only the American comedy.
Of course.
Buy your stocks
The American
now.
dream, digging and building.
Stocks and bonds.
Flora slides the planchette and board to a little bit farther for all of you to have within arm's length. She looks over at every one of you. Please put your hand on the planchette and say the name of the one you wish to speak with. You must bring them forth, let them know that you are here. And she looks around the table once more, going in the same order, so first being Atticus.
So Atticus will put his hand in the middle, his other hand tightly gripping his cane, and will say the name Mrs. Webb.
She puts her hand over yours just to tell you to leave it there. And then looks over to the person next.
Norma takes off her gloves, her long black satin gloves, and puts them in her lap, and then touches the board and says, Demetrius Othanos.
Next, she looks over to Felicity.
Felicity sighs, looks at the planchette kind of apprehensively, and slowly reaches out. She does not take off her gloves for this. Absolutely not. Keeps her gloves on and says, Felix Anderson.
Looking at the person next.
Albrecht lifts up his hands, kind of waggles them over at Ed.
Ed stares intently into his soul.
Eye contact, puts his
Yes.
hands down on the book, and says the name Lydia Bowes.
Not the book, the planchette.
Yes. Sorry.
These meter hands couldn't even put it on the right thing. Crimson Midnight for sure, thanks to this fellow.
So, looking over next, gesturing to Eddie.
So Eddie takes the keychain and... Wait, no, we're just touching the object, right?
The planchette.
What is a planchette?
It is the
the
Ouija
pizza
board that they
slice.
Okay,
move.
I'm not familiar with the plankets. But Eddie puts his hand on the planchette and says slowly and earnestly, "My dearly beloved Daisy."
You almost see like Flora just kind of like with her free hand like puts it on her chest for a moment, and then lastly looks over to Alexander.
Alexander will put his left hand out on the thing. His right hand kind of hangs by his belt where his gun is. Crimson Midnight, come on. And as he puts his hand on quietly, he just says, "Violet,
Wait, what was that?
Violet."
Oh, thanks. I'm taking notes.
The sisters both put their hands in the very center, free from where your fingertips touch. They both close their eyes. Fauna breathing in slowly, saying softly of, "To those who have been lost, yet not forgotten, we come forward to speak once more to you. Guests, for you at the door, please come and answer one last word for those who loved you dearly." The planchette under your finger slowly begins to slide across. It's going over a few areas at first, but then begins to form a few words that you can take out. You see it move to a few letters that spell out Alex, dear? Laura opens her eyes and just kind of looks around. She says, Violet says hello, looking over at you finally.
His voice is kind of stuck in his throat, doesn't know what to say.
Laura smiles softly and looks over to you. She asks how the kids are doing. Are they in bed like they should be?
They're good. Jonathan's 12 and Elsa's 10.
Fauna slowly cracks an eye open. What happened to her? She slowly whispers, why is there... She just stops, kind of catching your eye and biting her tongue, closing her eyes once more as the planchette slides more and more. You can see Fauna's face just kind of scrunch just a tad as she concentrates. Flora kind of squints as well and then says, Baskerville. There's somebody speaking of Baskerville. A boy. He's in bed. He can't get up. But he wants you to read it again. She kind of like looks around.
Yes, he did. Wouldn't go one night without me reading it, would he?
He wants you to do the voices like you used to do. But before you can even respond, Plunger just slides rapidly. There's somebody scolding, Flora says. Just somebody scolding? Private information, they keep saying. Why? They're scared. They're scared. She's saying, why would you bring the list? That's what he wants.
Looks at Atticus.
Looks at Atticus.
Looks at Atticus.
Cocks an eyebrow at Atticus.
He's the only one with the list.
As Atticus thinks in real time.
Side-eye.
Everybody's looking at Atticus.
Side eyes, Atticus.
Just grabbing his cane. Yeah.
Just ready to go.
Yeah, that is. Uh-oh. She angry. She's angry about the list?
The list. Why would you bring the list? That is what he wants. The one we made the deals with, Flora says, very seriously.
Oh, I didn't realize he knew about the list. I figured it meant so much to Mrs. Webb. That's why I brought it.
Fauna's face scrunches as the planchette is still moving. It's going more and more. She's almost wincing, as if there's loud noises all around her. Why bring the list? Company has spoken with him, not them. Those that they hold close. Brought the list for someone who made their own deal, inherited a deal, a murderer. She's just rambling off, murderer, murderer. She flings open her eyes and she looks directly at Norma. Murderer.
I'm sorry.
She's saying it over and over. Murderer. Murderer. Murderer.
I would like to read a bad situation.
Read a bad
I feel like it is getting bad.
Yeah, let's get our first move.
I forgot we can do that.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I forgot that this is like a game. It's not just a role play.
I was really invested.
Yeah, no, I was super invested. I was just like, wait, hold on. Like, should we be intervening? Should we be stopping somebody from getting murder accusations?
Road.
All right, read a bad situation. Fuck. Shit. It's plus sharp.
Yes.
Yes.
So I rolled an 8.
In this case, I'm just going to give you a half-true answer. There are certain things, and this is something that will be going forward. A lot of Monster of the Week, there's a hold one, things of that nature. I personally don't think they're very fun, and much more of it is, if it's a fail, you are not knowing. If it is a 7 or 8, you're going to get a half-truth. And then if it is a good roll, 10 and up, you will get the full truth.
Hell yeah.
Because that's more fun than trying to remember that you have questions in the bank.
So with an 8, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
You see the candlelights billow. You see their flames starting to just waver, but there's no wind in the air. It's stagnant in the room. The planchette in Fauna's grip begins to move once more. It's gliding to every letter that it can, to A, to H, to M, to L. Flora is still muttering murderer under her breath. Murderer. Turning to each one of you, slurring different
Can I help out?
accusations.
I know there's a help out action, and I know that's a...
Not in this case.
Never mind.
Is anybody else the slightest bit unnerved that the planchette seems to be moving with the drumsticks of an Olympian?
Felicity, by the way, wants to like reach over to Norma and like give her like a comforting like squeeze on like her arm or her shoulder, like whatever sort of the closest, just a little like, I got you, fam.
Atticus will turn to Flora and angrily be like, you told me stuff like this wouldn't happen. You promised this wasn't going to occur.
Flora just kind of stares at Atticus before turning to her sister. Sister dear? Fauna's just face is contorted. Her fingernails are digging into the wood. Too many are speaking. Too many. The candles billow, but they don't go out. The flame is just growing in intensity. It's getting hard to even look.
Felicity, fucking knocks the Ouija board off the table.
As your hand goes to hit it, a sharp burning sensation goes into the back of your hand. You see the candlelights grow and grow and grow, and Fauna's like, no! No! And you see Flora just say, the deal? No!
Hey, Mr. Atticus, would you like to tell us what the hell this deal is about? Because it seems like it's really important in this, particular scenario there, sir.
Do tell what in the blazes we just experienced.
Is currently experiencing.
I took an oath to keep those secret.
The table rumbles underneath you. It's taking, honestly, you have to hold the edges to keep it from absolutely capsizing and keeping yourselves from flinging backwards. Fauna mutters, sister, tell them to quiet. Flora looking up at the sky, spirits, hush and shush. We speak to one, then the others. But the planchette doesn't stop moving. It's going more and more, quicker and quicker. A, then a B, then an H, then a Y, then an O. Fauna's hands are gripping it, the splintering underneath her fingernails. Bits of blood just oozing out as she tries to rein it in like a wild animal. What is happening? Fauna is just squinching her eyes. She goes, it's not them. It's not them.
Can we take our hands off the planchette?
You can try. You gotta roll.
I do that.
I need you to roll. Act under pressure.
Oh god. Okay, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. 5 + 1 is a solid 6.
As you go to try and move your hands, you find them being yanked back as if there's rope around your wrist that's been tugged forward. Your hands are stuck on there.
Can I try to weird strength hit the board? Like with my free hand? Like just slam down on
You
it?
may.
That's a 10.
You try your hardest to hit the board with a strength that the others don't seem to have. You pry your hands away, them shaking as you do, and you smash a fist right against the board. You've smashed it. You see the sisters reel back, and they look at one another and then look to you. What have you done? You see them slowly, candles' flames burning larger, their flames rising tall and making the room nearly burn an orange glow. Before your eyes, you see the sisters, their arms now contorted to their sides. Held there, they shake as they try to pull them apart, but it doesn't work. The sisters rise from where they stand and rise and keep rising. Above the table, arms stiff and straight by their sides, faces finally stilled from all of that anguish, but settled into fear before not one but both are yanked backwards by an unseen string, straight through the parlor doors, them swinging open and swinging shut with a demanding slam before the candlelights begin to drown more and more and more until they begin to sizzle, engulfing the room in darkness, but not before a low, rumbling laugh echoes somewhere between the sound of the candlelight snuffing out.
I think I speak for all of the audio listeners back home when I say, what the fuck just happened?
Hey, Mr. Mr. Alexander, do you have any more of that whiskey by chance?
Can Alex run towards the door and try and shoulder charge through it after the sisters?
You don't have to roll, you can go for it.
Yeah, he's gonna go try and go after the sisters.
As you go towards the door and you try to pull it open, it is shut. Anytime you just pull it back, it's pulling back as if somebody on the other side is slamming it backwards.
Atticus will rip his the handle off his cane, revealing a spear.
Yes.
And he'll run up to Alex, grab him, and be like, "What do you think you're doing? You can't just run in there. We don't know what type of threat this is."
Alex's hand will go down to his revolver at his hip. Did you not see them get launched through the door?
Yes, I very much saw that. I have eyes.
Yeah,
but you can't
someone
just
needs to
run
go
in.
help him, and he's gonna try and kick ass the door.
Roll to kick some ass.
I'm gonna kick that door's ass.
Kick some door.
No, I'm sorry. Shake a flannon, I believe, is what we...
Shake a
Playing
flamin'.
with the door.
Also, just for clarification, this is the door to the parlor that we were first at?
Back outside the room, so in the the lobby area where you can get everywhere else. You're stuck in a room.
Okay, shake a flannon, and then I'm gonna do a thing.
Okay. That's a 9.
So you're trying to open it up. How do you try to open it up?
He's just gonna kind of shoulder check it as hard as he can.
All right, so with a one big oomph, colliding your shoulder into it, it bursts open. A little bit of splinters from the hinges kind of trickling down. The hallway is empty. It's almost like how it was prior, but the doors are all shut. One's leading to the parlor where you were once before, to down the hallway where the kitchen and a bathroom are. Everything is shut and closed tightly. The windows' curtains have all been drawn, every single one of them. Even those right next to the door that were previously open to at least let some sort of sunlight in.
Can Atticus investigate?
Yes.
While he's doing that, Alex is just gonna shout out, "Fauna, Flora!"
Felicity wants to shout out for Mildred.
Oh, now she cares.
Millie?
Mildred's just chilling.
What's up with Mildred?
Mildred's can we go now?
So you're gonna investigate?
Yeah, a 9.
A 9. How are you investigating?
Atticus will be slowly walking around the room, spear at the ready, looking for any familiar supernatural signs that he know about.
You go around, you don't really sense any sort of danger immediately. You don't see any in the closed doors. Outside the closed doors, you just see the hallway in itself. But one thing you do see is one of the curtains is billowing just a tad. The breeze coming in is cold, far colder than the spring air, even in the morning. And you can see just a glimmer of pinkish light, almost like a sunset, trickling down.
What time of day was it when we walked into that room?
Pure afternoon.
Felicity's gonna go and walk over down towards the parlor door and try to call, and is calling out for Mildred. It's like, Millie, Mildred, are you out here?
You don't hear a single thing from behind the door. It is silent as can be.
I turn to the rest of the group and I'm like, normally I wouldn't really give two thoughts to Mildred not answering and would in fact be relieved, but in this instance I in fact am shockingly worried. And I try the parlor doors.
There's no sound from the outside, and honestly, at every time you knock on them, you hear a knock back, but no one is ever speaking.
I do shave and a haircut.
What?
Shave and a haircut.
It took me a minute. I thought you actually meant, you know what, right now I'm giving myself a haircut. It's my bold move.
She starts shaving.
Roll to cut the hair.
And I just
Roll for shave.
Roll to cut the bangs.
No, I do the
Roll
We
for
need a
bangs.
badass look now.
Roll for bangs.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna roll. Wait, roll for bangs. Oh, I got 2 1s, so I have shitty bangs.
They're off kilter.
Oh wait, I failed earlier. Is a 6 a fail?
Yeah.
I forgot to mark experience.
Yes, mark experience when you fail.
Sorry, I just I realized I had to do the thing.
For the listeners back home, what does that mean?
Yes, so every time in Monster of the Week you fail a roll, which is anything 6 and below, you mark experience. There are 5 experience points. And each one of them will lead up to a full bar where you can unlock something to aid your character. Whether that be an extra stat boost in one of the other stats, whether that be taking a move from another playbook. Just little perks that you can get if you fill up the experience bar by being really fucking bad at the game.
Brilliant.
I won't mark experience for my 2 that I got for bangs.
No, that's just for us.
But no, I do want to do the do and just pause.
You just stop, but you do hear back. And then just a light, just scratching of nails against behind the door.
Felicity's back behind the group. Fucking in a blink of an eye, behind everyone. Nope, absolutely not.
In a flash.
Can I read a bad situation with that door?
Yes, you may.
Okay, bad situation. That's a sharp. What's my sharp? +2, so that is a 10.
All right. What are you doing?
Danger behind the door. How are we feeling about that?
As you get closer, you press your ear against the door. You can hear little gurgles. It almost sounds like a baby crying, but it's too old for that. It sounds more weathered with gurgles and whines, but it's soft, so soft that the others can't really hear it.
How many doors are on this hallway? Because so we had the room that we came out of, and you said it looked down a long hallway.
Yes.
And at the end are the parlor doors.
So, in the first floor, it is a 2-story home.
Mm-hmm.
The first floor is the entryway, where you had seen before. It is the parlor, where you once were. Right to the left of the foyer, where you entered originally. Directly across is the Séance room. There's a corridor down, right past them, if you just keep going from the foyer. Off to the side is a grand staircase that leads to the rest of the home. In the very back is the kitchen. Connected to that on our right-hand side is the dining room.
Can you send us a screenshot of that?
I am going to, yes.
You're incredible, because this looks like a dick.
That does kind of look like it is.
Why do you think I put that's a penis?
Just like, yes, the spherical seance room at the end of the long corridor.
The seance room is at the tip.
I just want to know how many doors are on this hallway.
Yeah. The front door the parlor where you were sitting before, the seance room, the kitchen, and the dining room.
How long are the curtains in this hallway?
You can pull them back. They just
Okay,
go
so it's an
underneath.
uncircumcised hallway.
I hate you.
Good one.
I hate you.
I couldn't help myself.
There's also a door against the side of the staircase that leads to a basement. There are 7 doors upstairs, but you haven't been up there yet, so you don't know what's up.
Counting 6 of us and Mildred.
I like my drawing, which still kind of looks like a dick, but we got the front door,
So
and
bored.
the seance
Some
room, the
STD.
parlor, dining room, kitchen, stairs up, stairs down. It's a
Oh,
dick,
yeah.
canonically.
It is a-
And we are all fucked.
It's in the dick.
So, do we hear any other noises? And I can investigate this.
Yes.
Do we hear any other noises that's not the parlor room creepy gurgling? Because I don't know about all of you, but I would prefer to save the creepy gurgling maybe for last and see what else we have to work with first.
Sounds like a right old plan.
Roll investigate mystery.
Great. Okay. Where's my dice? Fucking Jesus. I'm gonna use different dice. I got 2 1s again.
Don't forget, you have luck.
Mark experience.
You do have luck, but that's all you have for the entire campaign.
This ain't luck worthy. Yeah, I'm gonna mark experience, and I got a 3. I got +1, so it turns to be a 3.
Oh, how much that does not help.
So much.
So,
Oh, actually, can I? Okay, I have a move I would like to use.
I'll allow it.
Yes. So I have a move called Oops, and the move Oops says, if you want to stumble across something important, tell the keeper, you will find something important and useful, although not necessarily related to your immediate problems. And sounds about right now. I would like to open the dining room door and oops my way through the dining room.
The oops. Okay.
Oops,
I
I
did it,
did
yeah.
it
Yeah.
again.
I played with you.
I fudge up my roll. Now I got a mark experience.
Oh, baby.
So, okay, so you are going to the dining room.
Yeah, I think Felicity heard the scratching, said absolutely fuck that, went behind the group and was like, I'm gonna try any of the other doors. And like the first one next to her was the dining room and just like opens it. If it's openable.
It opens.
Great.
Eddie's gonna cause a little bit of a commotion.
Okay. While she goes in.
Yes, just
Okay.
a little bit of flavor. Gonna turn to the good magic boy Albrecht over here. Now you're going to tell me exactly what you did before you're going to be copping a mouse here, my fine fellow.
What I did, it was Atticus.
Don't you dare bring those blazes upon anybody else. I saw the wiggly fingers.
That was well before we started.
Definitely had something to do with it. A good magician always hides his initial intentions. Simply a ruse.
Ruse. You're blind.
I continue to just, lean into this guy with so much bravado.
I'm in the dining room. I'm not in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us are investigating.
To
Meanwhile,
the point where I do not notice that a door has been opened, let alone somebody else has gone somewhere.
Yeah, so you hear it's growing more faint as you walk through, Felicity. The door does open for you with a little click as it does. The part, I don't know if doors at the time had this, but I'm gonna just add it to this universe where you can see that part where you can unlock on a door, the little knob. As you reach for it, it unlocks and lets you open in. The dining room is as grand as the rest, with similar looking floral wallpaper. There's nothing truly out of place with it. A bit dusty. The sisters seem to have not had dinner company in so long. It is, like I said, it is calm and it is quiet. There's never really anything out of place. But there is a curtain that is very much billowing. It's almost coming out, almost reaching towards you as it moves in a wind that you can't feel.
Mr. Atticus, sir, can I Can I borrow your spear there for a second?
Well, you may not borrow it, but what is the problem?
I would like to poke the curtain. I want to poke it.
I'll handle the pokings of the curtains here.
Can I try and grab the spear out of his hand? Actually, no, I'm gonna do something else. I want to manipulate someone. I'm gonna try and convince him to let me do it.
Okay, roll.
I turn to Atticus. I'm gonna say the thing first, and then I'll roll, see if it works. I turn to Atticus, and I go, Mr. Atticus, I know we may have gotten off on the wrong foot, but I assure you that in whatever chicanery that these sisters might be undergoing in this moment in time, I assure you that I can handle it. Now, please, I would like to double check that there is no flora or fauna behind one of these curtains causing a scene, making us all believe in something that we know is not truly possible. And then I'll roll it. There we go.
I love it. I love when you try to manipulate other players, by the way. Please do it more because it makes me have fun.
I got an 8. 6. Manipulate someone's charm, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
6 plus 2 is an 8.
Is there something I could roll against that, or just...
No, you just face it. So it kind of works, it kind of doesn't.
I give him a little bit of a puppy dog face.
It's like I'll let you determine what happens, but it kind of works.
I see you're a bit of a skeptic, but you are one jammiest of jams of gals I've met.
Thanks.
I think that's how you used that old pickup line from the early 20th century.
You try to pick her up?
Great.
Travi?
Hold on, I'm scrolling. Where is it?
I think jammiest of jams means she thick, bro.
You just go thick? Oh, baby, you're bustle.
She thick, bro.
Jammiest bits of jams. This phrase was used to describe someone who was thick.
With 2 C's.
Thick.
With 2 Q's, because this is Victorian.
Oh, it's French.
But jammiest bits of jams. This phrase was used to describe the most perfectly beautiful young women.
At that, Felicity there's a small part of her that just goes, sort of sighs a tiny bit, but is very quickly puts on with a smile, that's so kind of you, sir. Now please, the spear?
Now, you may not hold it together, but here, you may grab my spear as I will poke the curtain.
You know what?
My good sir.
On that,
Buy your dinner first.
in hindsight, I'll pass. You can do all the poking.
My sir.
But thanks for the offer.
It seems you're attempting to eat vinegar with a fork, but you are definitely barking at naught.
Translation, please.
Eating vinegar with a fork. This phrase was used to describe a sharp-witted conversationalist or someone who is known to have a nasty way with words.
Yes.
Barking at a knot. This odd-sounding phrase is used to indicate that a person is engaged in an activity that will never bring about the desired result. So, it's a waste of time.
Thank you for the offer, good sir, but think I'm gonna pass on this one. You have fun with the poking.
Don't we all?
I'll poke the curtain with the spear.
There's nothing behind it. You just feel the weight of the curtain pushing back at it. But as you do, you can feel the glass, but you can feel that it's slightly open, a bit ajar, and you can see more of that pinkish light flowing down. There's some streaks of it that are just sort of cascade underneath where the curtain has moved. And you can see some sights of clouds and shadows, but you can't really tell as the curtain is right against it.
Atticus, he'll pull back the curtain and close the window. Yeah.
As you push the curtain back, you see it's not the outside. It's not the one that you rolled up in. The trees almost look like they're standing in the dead of night. There's not a single shadow cascaded down from them. The houses, the grass, the trees, the rose bushes up from the house next door are stagnant. They ain't moving at all. But it's the sky. Some clouds, the moon just barely peeking over the house next door. It's a pinkish hue. Everything. You're in the midst of a sunset, but the entire world has pinpoint frozen in that moment. Just pinks. but ever so slightly. Maybe it's a trick of the eye, maybe it's not. You can see the moon full, just starting to creep more and more upwards, going towards what you know to be midnight. The one that the sisters told you about.
Next time on Roll No Evil.
Each one of your totems are missing.
I blame the wizard.
I'm rather an expert of the supernatural, and this place is just crawling with it.
Then we're gonna sit down and have a conversation on why you might be connected to these sisters.
Do you think that your book could help us escape?
Albrick. Is it Albrick? How do you pronounce it? Albricked up.
Let's split up, gang.
The mirror is a glimpse into the other side.
You said you saw it, right?
None of this is real. None of this is real.
I don't know if he is actually doing something smart or if he's just a wooden
Let
spoon.
me figure out how to talk about dead people in Victorian slang.
I think Felicity screams.
There is no grasping of spears. This is high society. That's not proper.
I was gonna say roll for measurement contest.
Roll to measure your spear.